Welcome back to the OMA podcast. I'm Rayzor. I'm here with
This is QuiKzZ or Cody.
Cody. All right. Today we're just doing me and Cody. Ryan, aka Trauma, is not able to make it. And Cody. So basically, all we're talking about the Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War multiplayer reveal and the trailer that came along with it. Cody, first and foremost, what did you think of it?
There was a lot of things that could obviously be worked on. Game looked really good though. Multiplayer, I'm happy with the way everything turned out. But obviously there's a lot of stuff that they could tweak that obviously hopefully will be getting worked on over time.
Anything that you really liked from the trailer?
I like the whole gunsmith thing coming back. I like all the viable attachments that are going to be available on weapons next year. I'm a big fan of that.
I see. Well, I gotta tell you right away. When I first saw the trailer I don't think does the gameplay justice because I feel like the trailer is showing off a lot of vehicles and a lot of ground war, and I have no idea why they were doing that.
Right.
It literally was like vehicles upon vehicles, and it just didn't seem like a 6v6 kind of format they were just premiering, which I thought was weird. So I was a little nervous, and then they kind of continued to break it down throughout that whole live stream they had. Uh, Everything kind of looked pretty good to me, and it looked way better than what the shit we're playing now. That's for sure.
Right. Yeah, 100%.
I know I have some good insights. I have some things that I think might be bad, and I have things that just down need to get addressed. Um, so, you okay with doing like a good, bad, and like an ugly, or is that cool with
Yeah.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, go ahead. I'll let you start.
All right. So for good, definitely. Um, I think the maps and the colors look great. I think Modern Warfare went the realistic route, and everything's kind of on a grayscale. And I feel like we're getting that vintage Treyarch cartoony arcade shooter, which, I mean, I started playing Call of Duty Black Ops 1, and I just resonate with Treyarch. I think Treyarch does a fantastic job, not only for the multiplayer scene, but for the zombie scene and competitive. So I think the maps look great. The guns look awesome. From the gameplay that we saw from the streamers, I think that the maps flow well. There wasn't a time where I was like, oof, there's like a lot of downtime with them running or whatever. Even with the vehicles, even with them playing, what do they call the new ground war? I don't even remember. It's like,
It's like mercenary domination.
yeah,
It's
something like
something.
that. Even with that, I mean, they were pro players and content people, so no one was really going to be sitting around and doing whatever. But I still feel like the flow will be okay. I'm not sure for 6v6 if they're gonna like cut down the map so it's like only a certain section of the map, or if they're gonna have the whole thing. That ship map, you know, that ship map that was out in the water. There was the two ships.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of that.
I don't know if they're just gonna cut it down to one ship for 6v6 or what they're gonna do, because that kind of reminded me of Texas, USS Texas from World War
Right.
II.
No.
Look,
Yeah, I gotcha.
so I don't know how they're working on that. But the perks, we have Dead Silence coming back, thank God. Um, what else? No more specialists, which again is a big bonus. There's field upgrades, but I mean they have a SAM turret, which who cares? I think they had a field mic, which is just basically if you run past it, it picks you up. Kind of like the in Black Ops 1, they had the little camera, except I think it's
Right.
audio and not visual this time around. And then there were a couple more. Um, I don't know where to put the creator class because um, obviously with this new game, you can get a primary, a secondary, you get a lethal tactical, three perks, a field upgrade, and I think you can pick from a wild card. And the wild card, which we'll get into in a little bit, allows you to add things to your class. I like that you can have all that stuff. I feel like with everybody having everything, it kind of I guess balances itself out. That way, you know, you're not playing against somebody who has a stacked gun and perks and no secondary. Like there's no penalty for bringing a secondary, which I guess is nice. Um, but we'll get more into the wild cards because there are some wild cards that they added this year that might be an issue. Again, this is all speculation because we haven't had our hands on the beta yet.
Right.
Um, Score streaks look pretty good. I mean, there's nothing that I think is crazy or I don't like. Again, we don't have access to play it, but the gunship is coming, or I'm sorry, the chopper gunner is coming back. It's literally Black Ops 1 chopper gunner, which is awesome. I love that they Really, they're making this feel like a direct sequel, even though Black Ops 1 came out 10 years ago, so
2010
it's 10, right? Because
or
Modern Warfare 3
11,
was
something like
11.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, so did a great job there. I know they're bringing the specialist weapons from Black Ops 3 and Black Ops 4 in as kill streaks in this game. But again, like the War Machine and whatever, just seemed like a Black Ops 2 War Machine. So there's nothing there that strikes me as a problem. Do you want to go ahead and list off what you thought was good?
Yeah. There's a few different things that I thought were good and bad about both. So the main thing that I thought off right off rip was the gameplay was very good. I was very impressed with how fast the maps were flowing. Wasn't so much a fan of the maps that had like the vehicles and stuff on it, just because that's when stuff kind of gets a little bit wonky with like timing and stuff, almost like Black Ops 3 at the G slide. Like timings on the maps could be messed up because of it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Guns I saw were good. Time to kill could be tweaked a little bit more. Time to kill seemed a little bit fast. But it did say that time to kill was a lot slower than Modern Warfare. But to me, in the gameplay, obviously it looked like it was really fast. But like you said, we also haven't had our hands on the beta. One thing that I'm really concerned about is slide canceling was in the beta, but I knew that they said that they were going to tweak that after the beta was played.
Mm-hmm.
So we can only hope that that's touched and worked on.
Mm-hmm.
And then in the reveal trailer, before the players started playing, they were talking about how Ninja is the new Dead Silence this year.
Mm-hmm.
But it's actually not fully silent based on your speed of walking and running, which I don't know how I feel about that, but we'll have to see
Mm-hmm.
when we get our hands on the gameplay. But I don't know. That could go one of it could either be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. So I guess we'll
Mm-hmm.
just have to wait and see.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to disclaim, I guess, is obviously no one, the vast majority, has not gotten able to play the game. We haven't felt it. We don't have any idea how it's gonna run, feel, all that good stuff. So, like I said, this is all speculation. The only positive side I have about this is already based on feedback they got from the alpha, is that it seems like they're going to be very apt to do changes and to receive feedback and work on things. Like you were talking about the slide canceling, pros had
Right.
already mentioned to developers like, hey, this is going to be a problem after Modern Warfare, and kind of the same feel. And one of the developers already proclaimed and publicly said on Twitter that that alpha that they played was actually two builds past what they're currently on in the studio.
Right. Okay.
So I guess we just kind of have to see how they fix that and how they rework the sliding there. I will say that with the sliding, I like how when you slide initially, you get like a boost, a speed boost, which I feel like would be pretty nice,
Right.
a good change of pace compared to Modern Warfare. Um, I guess we'll move on to the bad now. I guess there really is no ugly because I feel like we should kind of save that till we actually get to play and we have some big concerns because at that point, by
Right.
the time the beta's over, there's only like 2 weeks before the game comes out. So,
Right. 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah.
so with the bad right now, from what I saw, I know people were kind of bitching about the score streak, the new system they have, which I know
Right.
you're probably gonna touch on that, and I kind of want to touch
Right.
on that. Um, it's basically a score streak multiplier now. So every time you get a kill, it like times it by or gives you an additional 50 points or 50 points, 500 points, whatever they classify. I think it's 50 per additional kill. And then I think you get some sort of multiplier bonus for doing something with the objective, whether that means you capture a hill or capture a flag, um, dog tags. I'm not quite sure in those kind of modes, but at first I was kind of confused by it. And then one of the YouTubers, I think it's Exclusive Ace, I want to say his name was kind of breaking down the kill streaks and the values they were able to get and see in the alpha, and then
Right.
basically give you like situations like if you go on a killing streak without dying, how many kills do you need to get X item? And basically, from what I saw, the chopper gunner was used as an example because that's what I remember was 6,000 score. And in order to get a chopper gunner with just straight kills and using that multiplier, you needed like a 14 or 15 kill streak, which I mean, I like I said, I don't know how easy that is going to be in this game, but that seems to be on par as with all the other Call of Duty games. Um, if you were to just get like a kill, die, kill, die, kill, die, I think what is
Right.
that like? That's like 80 kills. Let me think. Um, it's a lot, maybe 60 kills. I don't know. I can't think off the top of my head, but it's a lot of kills. So people were complaining on that end though was like, okay, so what if you're playing like a Nuketown Domination, right? People can
Right.
drop 60,
That's
70,
where the
80.
concern comes in.
Right. So that might be the only part where this system doesn't work, and that's might be where they need to rework things. Um, because I mean we all know Nuketown's gonna come back. This is a Treyarch staple. So I
Right.
guess we'll see what happens there with that. However, I'm not as concerned as I once was when I heard it, just because I feel like they have good data behind it right now to support what they're working on. So I guess we're just gonna have to
Right.
stress test that out and see how that works. Um, Another bad um vehicles. I mean, if the vehicles are in 6v6,
Right.
especially
That's one thing
tanks,
I was going to touch on.
yeah, if they leave vehicles and especially tanks in the game, I apparently they didn't learn after Modern Warfare how abusive tanks are in
Right.
shooters, and Modern Warfare couldn't get that right. And I feel like at one point they took out the tanks, didn't they not? In ground war because it was just
I'm not even sure. I haven't
obnoxious.
played Ground War since like the first week.
So that's a bit worrisome right there. And what else do you have? I kind of build off you.
Um, the main concern for me right now is I know this is a make or break for a lot of players within the community.
Mm-hmm.
They talked about bringing back the season pass. That is a
Oh,
big
battle pass,
concern.
battle pass.
Right, season pass, battle pass, whatever it's called. And not having prestiges. Treyarch has been known for their prestige logos. I mean, people still on Black Ops 4 to this day run all the Black Ops 1 prestige logos from being like 15 prestige with the skull and crossbones one. And my main concern is that they're going to lose players within the community if they don't bring back prestiges because there will be nothing to play for.
Mm-hmm.
As to where, like, back in the day, you got on, you played to level 55, and you prestige to the next one. As to where in this game, you rank up to level 155, you stop and wait until there's a new season like Fortnite, which is what
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of games are trying to do. But now the VR scene has kind of died off a little bit. I'm hoping that Treyarch realizes what the community actually needs back and brings back what the community actually wants.
I believe Charlie Intel made a poll about if people want prestige back or not, and
Right,
it was like 88 or 89% of the people wanted it back, and it was like out of 150,000 people. I know from people who leak out gameplay or leak out information about the game, they had
right,
said that the people who told them that there was no prestiging has heard feedback about the community wanting prestiging.
right,
So I could see them changing their mind and somehow uh, putting prestiging back in the game. Because remember, Black Ops 4 still had a battle pass system, and you're able to prestige in that game.
right,
So I don't see the problem behind prestiging, especially if you make like they can even make like 15, 20 prestiges, and then have the last prestige you cap out at like 1,000. Because I mean that's a lot of
right,
levels you gotta fucking level
right,
up there. So I
right,
mean
right.
so there's no reason to max us out at 155, which I never understood that, and I don't know um why they touched that. I mean, sometimes Call of Duty touches shit that doesn't need to be touched, like the mini map and the leveling system. And I don't know why. Like I get they're trying to innovate and change things up, but some of the stuff they do is uncalled for, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, what else did you have for bed besides the prestiging?
All so another thing that there's actually two things realistically that I had. One being obviously all the vehicles that I worry about being added in the 6v6,
Mm-hmm.
which is what I do not want whatsoever. Vehicles can break a game heavily, like I said, based off the timings in the map, like right off rip. Especially if it's like Modern Warfare where you can like literally run people over with a tank, that's gonna be a big issue. So vehicles is the main concern, and then the other one is the sniping. Sniping is a little bit overpowered right now, and at
Oh
long
yes, yep.
range,
Mm-hmm. It's good to touch
um,
on.
the damage on the snipers, the aim time in like down scope, the hit bot, like how fast you can zoom in and actually hit a bullet it's a little bit insane. So I'm hoping that gets worked on, which I'm sure it will, along with all the other weapons. But that's really all the main concerns that I have, and then obviously slide canceling that I talked on earlier. But um, oh, I guess this one here I have as well. In the beta, I don't know how well you paid attention to perks and stuff, but in perk 1 slot this year, they have Scavenger, Flak Jacket, and Tac Mask all in one slot, which is
Damn.
very, very interesting. I'm not a fan of that based off the sole fact that for competitive, it's going to be just like BO4 again. In BO4, you had to waste 2 slots if you wanted to run Flak and Tac. And I mean, I know for the competitive scene, mostly main players only really run Flak Jacket, sometimes Tac based off um, nades and stuff off rip. But I definitely think that there was room to throw Tac Mask or Flak Jacket in another slot, so you have like the Tac Flag Dead Silence type deal.
Now I will say this as a counter to what you're saying. Um, Speaking out loud, based on what I saw with the wild cards, we'll get into that here in a second with the wild cards. But there was a wild card you could take that gave you 3 additional perks on top of your 3 you already get to pick. So technically, they could do Flag Jacket and Tac Mask in perk one,
Right,
and then I'm sure Ninja, I think it was perk two, and another one, and then 2 perk 3 ones. I don't know if wildcard's gonna be banned competitive. Number one,
right,
and number two, what other perks perk 2 and perk 3 have that would be beneficial to the comp or to the
right,
comp scene.
exactly,
So
exactly.
that's a big question mark there. Um, I want to transition throughout this podcast to the competitive side because obviously with our eyes set on competitive next year, it's an important part.
Right.
Um, anything that you see is very concerning to you, like something that you think will break the game just based on what you saw?
Um, that can heavily break a game or the game, not really. The only real concern that I have is how many attachments there are.
Hmm.
Um, that that can be put on a gun. That's one main concern because I've seen in the beta that players were literally running like an MP5 and they literally had like 8 attachments, I think it was, to a gun.
Hmm.
And if you think about it, with the competitive scene, if you're running an MP5 with 8 attachments, you are literally going to be like invincible on the map, especially with how fast guns are killing right now. If you have like grip, quick draw, stock, long barrel, um, I don't even know what else, for example, like fast mag, quick draw, all that stuff on one MP5, like that gun is literally going to be insane. Um, and I know, like, for the AR that I think is going to be the main AR this year is the Commando. The Commando's back. You put 8 attachments on a Commando, that thing is literally going to be a beam. So, I mean, you're going to have 2 sets of weapons. You're going to have a submachine gun and an AR both loaded up with 8 attachments, if that's going to be allowed in the competitive scene. That brings a worry to me, but really everything else right now, um, I think looks good. I know vehicles are obviously going to be out of play in multiplayer and in competitive. Um, so you really don't have to worry about that. The only thing else that really concerns me right now is the time to kill. That looked quite fast,
Hmm.
but like I said, there's a lot of stuff that they can work on before the
Hmm.
13th of November. So
Now, someone did come out with the time to kill, just for everybody to
right,
get be on the
and
same page with us.
I have that on a screenshot for Nick to put in the on screen so you guys can see the differences in the time to kill from Black Ops 4 to Modern Warfare to Cold War. So
I might actually put that in the description based on what
okay,
I can do. So if it's not on the screen, it'd be in the description for sure. But yeah, so it was like Cold War was slightly faster than Black Ops 4, but slower than Modern Warfare.
right.
Um, so
And
I mean,
I have the picture here actually that I can read off to you guys the numbers.
go for it.
So Modern Warfare, starting from assault rifle to SMG, Modern Warfare's assault rifle kill time was 190 milliseconds. SMGs were 175. Cold War's ARs were 321 milliseconds, and submachine guns were 275. But in Treyarch's game in Black Ops 4, ARs were 355 and SMGs were 315. So, like Nick said earlier, the time to kill is right in between in the mix of both games, which is good. I think they're heading in the right direction with that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, so how about we transition now to a competitive look at the game?
Right.
And at this point, there's been no settings announced,
Right.
nothing has been talked about for comp. I guess it's still in the works there. I'm sure they're getting pros input based
Right.
on seeing that they gave them the alpha access and the open dialogue that they're sharing with the pros. So I feel like that's in good hands. You mentioned the 8 attachment wildcard.
Right.
That might be an issue.
Right.
The positive and negatives of that, I feel like the positive is if you choose to have a god gun like that, you have to give up having flak or tac mask.
Right. Exactly.
So that might be the plus side. However, the negative side of that is um, it could just be like if you position yourself well and based on maybe sometimes how the maps play, like you're not always getting stunned, you're not always getting naded. I mean, if you're
Right.
gonna throw a spawn nade and then see how
Right.
that doesn't hit, well, guess what? Now you have no nades to work with, and the guy on the other team now has a 8 attachment MP5 commando or whatever
Exactly.
the guns
Exactly.
would be. So I feel like there might be a chance that the 8 attachment wild card is banned. And if it's not banned, I feel like it probably get GA'd, depending on how that
Right.
works.
Yep.
Um, so we'll see how that goes. Um, Another big thing is dead silence, or in this game, Ninja. If it's not completely silent, I kind of defeats the purpose of having it sometimes. I mean, because if you're
Right.
sitting on a bomb
Exactly.
site and you're just sound hoarding, guess what? It's gonna be like Modern Warfare all over again.
Right. And that's another concern for me is like, say someone has a bomb down, you plant the bomb on site, you're in a 3v2 situation and you go to make a play or maybe not even make a play, but you go to like get a position on the map. You take off sprinting, you aren't fully silent, and but you have the ninja perk on. People are still going to hear you, and they're literally going to run at you to get a trade or a
Mm-hmm.
kill for say to get you a man down on the map. So they're literally in like a 3v1 situation, which is where I think stuff will be an issue, which is what I didn't want. But I mean,
Right.
realistically, it is what it is at the end of the day. Well, they'll have to either fix it if the pros don't like it, or they'll have to play with it for a year.
Yeah, for sure. Um, we've only seen a little bit of the maps. I don't know. I feel like Miami would probably be a comp map. Um, I can see maybe the ship map being a competitive map if it's just down to one ship.
Right.
I'm not sure about the winter map. Now, I feel like, and I could be wrong here. I'm just kind of going based on just what I'm thinking in my head. I feel like most maps that they first showcase in like trailers or gameplay reveals or early gameplay footage are usually maps that will be a competitive map.
Right.
So I feel like we're probably looking at some of the comp maps right there.
And
And
now, see, that was a concern for me. Go ahead, though. Finish what you were saying.
well, I think it was leaked out. It was only gonna be 10 maps. And I feel like they showed us five, if I'm not mistaken. There was Miami, boat, Arctic map. They had the desert, and then was there one more? Or was there just four?
Miami.
Miami. Okay. I don't know. I already said Miami. That was the first one. I think they showed a forest map. Did we? I don't think there was gameplay in the forest map. Was there?
No, not that I
Okay.
remember.
I
No.
didn't see a forest map gameplay. So I think they announced five in the trailer. Um. So I guess we'll kind of see how that plays out there. I mean, there's five more maps. Uh, Speculation, I guess, based on what was leaked out, they were going to be added to the game. And I'm sure they're going to have throwback maps. We're going to see Nuketown again, but that's not a comp map. I know.
Right.
What was it with Black Ops 3 or Black Ops 4, where I think it was 4, where you could play like slums competitively.
Black Ops 4, right at the rip,
Yeah,
you could play Summit and Slums and
yeah.
be
See,
competitive. Actually,
so maybe they're going to do something like that again.
I see,
Um,
and that I think would work because now this year, with obviously being back to 4v4, a map like Summit or a map like Slums would work perfect in the flow of 4v4 for S&D. 5v5 S&D on slums and summit, you're going to be getting a little bit too carried away with players on the map, having 10 people on the map. But
Right. You were saying you're gonna bring up a concern.
yeah, so with the maps that I've seen, I guess I could have talked about this earlier on one of the concerns, but now that we're actually talking about competitive, all the maps that I saw in the gameplay with all the pros and streamers and stuff playing, I actually wasn't too impressed with the maps for the look of competitive. I don't think any of the dark maps are going to be played in competitive just for the sole fact of the maps being dark and you can run through back alleys that are completely pitch black and stuff.
Mm.
I obviously don't think that they'll play a map that has anything to do with water on it. Obviously, I mean, you had what was that map on Black Ops 4 that had the water hacienda, but after a while, people just didn't even play that side of the map. Um, so I don't think they're gonna play that. And then obviously the one that had like the sand all over it and like the satellite, I think it was called.
Yep.
I definitely don't think that's gonna be a competitive map. There's way too many little alleyways and lanes and stuff that people could be running through, and there's really no open open areas for people to be getting in like close quarter gunfights or places for bomb sites or hard points or control sites or anything. So I'm curious as to what maps we'll be playing for competitive next year, but like I said, it's all just a process of time until we find out.
Now, something you touched on just now was control, and control's coming
Right,
back. So,
right.
you think we're seeing hardpoint control on search and destroys or game modes?
It'll be hard point, search and destroy, control
Okay.
for the three game modes.
How do you feel about control coming back?
I'm a lot better with control than I am with domination. Domination is one of the worst game modes to ever be played for competitive COD. It's
Yeah.
boring in Ghosts. It was boring in Modern Warfare. So
Yeah, I think as long as there's no bad spawn traps in control, I feel
right,
like control is a really
exactly,
competitive mode, and
right,
it really brings suspense down to the end there when you only have X amount of people
right.
left and you're trying to.
And now a 4v4, especially being back, it's going to be a lot more
Oh
strategic.
yeah, that's true. Yep.
It's not just going to be people flying into a site playing for trades to wipe the site and capture. It's going to be stun, nade, go, run, team push. If you die, hit the next site and
Yep.
try to get a strategic play.
So we haven't seen control 4v4. That's a good point.
Right.
Yeah, that should play out interesting for sure. Is there anything that you want to see GA'd? Or I'm sorry, not GA'd, but banned just based on what you saw. Besides that wild card.
Um, I wouldn't prefer thermals to be in. I haven't even seen all the attachments and stuff, obviously, so I don't really know what the thermals are like. But thermal in Black Ops 4, I know was very OP. It basically took your gun from having recoil with a double grip. You put a thermal on it, your gun literally was a beam with absolutely no recoil because of a thermal scope. So I think right off rip of the game, thermal sight should be something to go. Also, if there's going to be any sort of like EMP grenade or anything that like removes your HUD, I don't think that'll be a very good combination for competitive.
Wasn't there an EAP in like Black Ops 2 and Black Ops 3?
There was, yeah. Black Ops 3, I don't know. Black Ops 2, there was though, yeah. But Black Ops 2, you also had like guardians and stuff that you had to
Mm-hmm.
kill. So
Yeah,
where in
that's
this
true.
game, you really don't have all that to worry about.
Is there anything excited or that you're excited about for comp that you're seeing?
Um, I'm obviously excited for the gameplay. Really excited to get things going with the new guns and stuff. Really excited to use the commando again. Really excited to obviously one of my favorite things is just playing the game and working your way up with attachments and just finding the best class setup
Mm-hmm.
that just absolutely destroys like to the process of where you had to find it for the Maddox and BO4 and the ICR. It's one of those things that makes you actually want to play the game to get used to it, to get your shot down, to get your attachments down. And just playing the game, I'm really looking forward to it. Getting a new fresh game for a whole nother year.
Yeah, I'm excited that 4v4 is coming back. I feel like that was a good move. It had to be made. We talked about it in the last podcast about the roster mania before all this new information came out, which sneak peek, I think next podcast will probably be after the 14th. So I'm sure people are going to be announced and there's going to be some big reveals there.
Right.
So I'm sure we're going to talk about
Yeah.
that in the coming weeks.
A lot of moves are going to be being made. If you guys aren't from the competitive scene watching this, there's a lot of moves that are going to be made here come the 14th. So this next podcast about it, the third podcast we make, will be a good one.
And I think too, I mean, it makes COD really competitive. You know,
Right.
it cuts the competitive pool in terms of the player pool down um, by a fraction, and really the best players are gonna have a starting spot and should make COD games really interesting.
Right.
Obviously, you're gonna have your standout players, but I think it's gonna be the most competitive COD we've ever seen in terms of from CDL.
Right.
One thing I do want to mention that I'm pretty uh, excited about. I was watching Scump stream, and in his private, he was in a private match or something like that. Or
Right.
no, it was theater mode, I think. And the picture in the theater mode was a CDL logo, which, if you
Mhm.
recall, Modern Warfare didn't have, I don't think, anything CDL or anything
No.
comp related
No.
until like
No.
December, January, which is just
Right.
crazy.
That was another thing, yeah, that I was gonna talk about with the game. Like you said, Scump was playing, and every so often he would move screens, and it would say Call of Duty League in the bottom right.
Hmm.
Now I don't know if you guys know this, but David Vonderhaar is actually a very big follower of the competitive Call of Duty scene. He was very into it in Black Ops 2, very into it in Black Ops 3. And I'm pretty sure, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure he was actually at the Black Ops 4 Champs event last year, which is always good to see from like a game developer just wanting to see his game prosper and see everyone playing his game and actually enjoying it. Um, so I know he's a big firm believer in competitive, which is really good to have, is to have support from, like I said, a developer. So he'll be listening to the community, hopefully with changes and stuff and what pros have to say on the game.
Absolutely. And I really hope, and I mean, I have a feeling because it's Treyarch, but I feel like they're going to have league play right out the gate.
Yeah, I hope so.
And I'll say this too, the only thing I can really accept as a player of Call of Duty is if there's no league play at launch, they say either at launch or before launch, like, hey, league play is not coming with launch, but it'll be
Right,
available this date, or it'll be like a couple weeks after launch
right,
or something.
exactly.
That
Yep,
way, we're not sitting in the dark the whole year and then
right,
get some half-assed uh, competitive playlists that no one wants to
right.
fucking play
Making
because
like
there's no
Modern
point.
Warfare with no
Right,
rankers playing in a competitive
right,
minds, like a competitive game.
right, right.
Um, the way I think that they could do it is if they don't want to have it right off rip, they could obviously have it where once a competitive rule set is announced and everything, all the maps, game modes, timers of all the maps and stuff, S&D sites, bomb times, and everything is set. As soon as those go into effect for all the pros, that's when they could add in the playlist, so everything is set right off rip, right when the whole pro scene gets announced.
Yep. So I guess we're just gonna have to kind of wait and see on there. I
Right,
feel like they probably like before the game comes out, I'm sure they're gonna talk about the competitive side, and they still have zombies they have to talk about, which I'm excited for zombies personally, and I'm
right.
sure there'll be a whole different podcast way down the road when more information comes out there. But yeah, um, I kind of want to transition to like the last portion. I feel like, and that's like a wish list. Like, what do you want to see that you didn't get to see in the alpha that you hope is either in beta or at launch?
That I would want to see.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously,
So, oh, go ahead, go ahead. That's fine.
I would have liked to have seen more maps. I would have liked to have seen like full rotation of all the maps played, so we can get a look at like what we're in for.
Mm-hmm.
I know on BO3 though we didn't get to see all maps. We only got like 3 or 4, which is what they displayed again. But the whole ground worn vehicle thing just didn't sit right with me, and the whole like 10v10 or 9v9 or whatever it was, it just wasn't. It didn't pull me in like it did for Black Ops 3 when we were playing what did we even play in that game? Like down. I don't know. I don't remember the names of the maps in Black Ops 3, but we had the set 3 maps, and they were bright, they were vibrant. I mean, the colors look good, but the big maps and stuff I just wasn't a fan of. I wish we would have just seen 6v6 straight across the board.
Hmm. Anything else in terms of like just even small things, or is that pretty much it for you?
Um that's really much it besides the whole battle pass no prestige thing.
Yeah.
That's one thing, but that's not really small. That's a big thing that's going to draw players' attention, but that's really all.
My laundry list, my wish list. I'm not even gonna mention competitive wise because I feel like it's too early to
Right.
be demanding things. We'll just kind of see how that plays out. If somebody who from Black Ops 2 until this shit game um, loved playing pubs and loved just grinding pubs and
Right.
camos and all that. Uh, my wish list consists of things like obviously the prestige system that we talked about. I hope that comes
Right.
back because I don't really want to be maxed out at a level and then kind of like I guess initially right off bat I'll be going for camo, so I guess I don't care. But for the longevity of the game, there needs to
Mhm.
be procedures. I feel like that at least keep me
Right.
interested, and I'm sure most of the community interested to actually play MP and grind like the good old days. I want to see cool camos. Um,
Yes,
with with
that's
with it
another
being a
thing.
chair game, I know it's set in Cold War, but usually multiplayer doesn't follow the campaign rules of being true to the era. So I'm sure we'll
Right.
see some funky and some cool camos. I'm hoping there's some sort of dark matter. I'm sure there probably will be. I hope that that camo is cool, whatever that might be, whether it be like a dark matter 2.0 or a whole new take. Did you like Damascus in this game?
It was all right. Platinum was pretty good. Platinum had like a good color to it, but the Damascus one, the gold was terrible.
Yeah.
Why you make a gold camo with black camo pinstripes across it is beyond me. But
I'll tell you. I'll give you more in detail for you. Camos, in terms of mastery camos, I want Black Ops 1 Gold, I want Black Ops 2 Diamond, and then I want like a Black Ops 3 Dark Matter. That to
a
me,
Black Ops 2 diamond would be ideal.
oh my god, Black Ops 2 Diamond was literally the best diamond I think we've ever gotten. I think World War 2 is kind of close.
Black Ops 4 had a good diamond, but the color changing ruined it.
Yeah, yeah. So hopefully we get some nice camos there, and the challenges.
Right.
I don't know. I feel like Modern Warfare 3 was the last game to do this, where the camos were tied to your weapon level. I
Right.
love that. I thought that was cool. I mean, I get the whole headshots and whatever, but like,
Like Modern Warfare 3.
yeah, and Modern Warfare this game like 100 long shots or 100 I think it was 100 mounted or something like that. Like
Right. Yeah.
that just that throws off your playstyle. Like now instead of running around
Right.
getting kills, now I have to sit back and head glitch a fucking barrel.
Right.
I don't get why they do that.
But then the other thing that I also don't want is I don't want to have to. I mean, I know it doesn't really affect your play style, but I'm not a fan of the whole headshots for camo thing.
Yeah,
Like, I think it's time to like bring in a whole new, different ball game of how to get camos. Like, it's time to switch it up.
yeah. Um, something that was on my wish list before recording this podcast that I found out I think it was today it came out was the whole I wanted them to get rid of flinch and I thought that was gonna be a hard request to ask for
Right.
because I mean this has been in
Flinch
every
and
Call of
view
Duty
kick
game,
headshot was a big concern.
but now they took it out, which is
Completely
awesome and
out,
I feel
which is
like
good.
competitively that's awesome
Right.
because and even in pubs too because no one's you're not getting this random headshot kill. So I
Right.
feel like positioning now, in terms of where you position your gun in competitive, will be a bit
Hmm.
higher because people are gonna want the headshot multiplier, which I know is a little high in this game, which I don't know if they're gonna tweak or not.
Right.
But that's awesome, and I'm sure it'll feel kind of different when we play the beta because we're not used to that. Um, so I'm glad that's been addressed. I'm hoping the rest of the maps are good.
Right.
I'd love a good handful of maps that are small 3 lane maps that flow nice. I would love
Right.
that. I mean, maps are a big part of like what makes a game fun, and if you have fun maps and maps that flow good and then play well, like it just it helps the longevity of the game. I don't know if we're gonna see it right off the rip, but I hope they bring back some good classic maps, some maps that we haven't played.
Right.
Like I don't want some that's been in every fucking game.
Right.
It's been in one, two, three, four, and I'm probably gonna be in this game too because they were teasing out back when the first teasers were coming out. But like,
Right.
don't give me the same maps over and over and over and over again. The only
Right.
map that I could see coming back that would it's like a staple is Nuketown.
In Midtown. Right.
So give me WMD or give me something fun like that.
Right.
Map or I guess Hijack came back for Black Ops 3, but
Right.
something new, some fun new classic map.
Right.
Um oh, this is probably my last wish list thing that I can think of off the top of my head is I'm a big sucker for challenges, especially going for calling cards, and this is something that this game
Right.
didn't do right. They just gave you a set list of challenges, and it's like tiers, get so many X, Y, and Z kills, and it just changes. And I don't know what the fuck that whole mission challenge, or whatever you call it, was. Give me the barracks,
Right.
the
Exactly.
you know what I'm talking
Like
about, like
Black Ops 2, where you had to get like 36 or say like 35, 40 kills in like a TDM game, and you got like a title, like stuff
yeah,
like
stuff like
that
that. Yeah,
is what I
even like
want.
Modern Warfare 3 kind of stuff.
Right.
That'd be awesome too.
I mean,
Stuff like that, like that like you
I
can go
wouldn't
for.
also mind like the challenges for like headshots coming back, like how Modern Warfare 2 and 3 did. Like you get like 250 headshots with a gun, you get a
Yeah.
calling card.
Well,
Like
when I think it was, I guess in all the Black Ops games except for maybe one, where it was like there was a section that was boot camp. It was like get 5 kills while sliding, do this, do
right,
X or do Y, do Z, and then there was like once you complete all those challenges and got those calling cards, you got like a mastery calling card, and then there
right,
was
a
like different
master,
sections.
exactly.
There's like a
Yep.
killer section, um, and stuff
Yeah,
like
there was
that.
like
Game mode.
killer, master, humiliation, all
Yeah,
those.
all those. Bring those back. That I love just like I know they have the ones like the wild card ones. I'm sure. Um, like put quick draw, sleight of hand, and a laser sight, and get 50 kills with this. Get this like shit like that. I
Right,
enjoy,
right.
and it
No, I
helps
got you.
me customize myself and customize like all like how did this dude get this calling card? You can look it up and not some like I don't know like the random like daily challenge thing or
Right.
get it out of a drop or
Not like
whatever the
Modern
case might be.
Warfare, like, oh, hey, you got 500 kills with an M4. Okay, what do you
Right.
do? Here's your title.
And I hope they do that for weapon charms too. I'd love like I think it was World War II where it was like if you did a zombie Easter egg, you got this cool little dark skull with like red eye um, weapon charm, and I think that
Hmm.
that shit is just so cool because like you had to beat the Easter egg, you had to it actually put time and effort into getting it, and not just like oh give me $10 and you can have it like. Uh, I don't know. That's just another whole
Right.
whole thing that
Or
disgusts me
hey,
with this game.
open a supply drop and play your
And you
luck
get
type
lucky,
deal.
right? Yeah, like that
Right.
shit. I'm a sucker for those challenges, and God hope they come back for sure.
Right.
Um, I was gonna ask you now. Let me think, cause I think forgot. Um, damn, damn. Are you excited for zombies to come back? I know you weren't really a big zombie guy, but I kind of feel like you've been
I'm
playing more zombies, like the last few games when they kind of had
I-
it more than
I'm
you did
not
at the
a
beginning.
huge zombies fan. I'll play it here and there if I get like real bored. I played it in Black Ops 4 because they actually made camos for
Mm,
zombies you actually had to
that's
play to get. If they had something like that, I'll play zombies again. Like if I have to go in and get
yeah.
200 hit shots for like a cool camo for like my commando or something, yeah, obviously I'll play it.
I think Black
Um,
Ops 3 did that too. I don't
right.
quite remember 100%. I think they did though as well.
And another thing that make me play zombies is if they bring back like some like the old zombies maps like that.
Mm. Mhm.
That'll be something that makes me excited for zombies. Is seeing like old maps from like BO1 or BO2 come back.
I God hope they bring back Buried.
Yeah,
There's s-
Buried was a good one.
Someone was saying how the desert map is like the same location as Buried or something like that.
Right.
So I mean that'd be awesome to see like a Buried 2.0 or like a Buried remastered come back. I saw a tweet yesterday saying that Alcatraz was supposed to come back in some form, and they weren't sure if it
That
was a
would be
direct
dope.
remake or a remaster or however they're gonna run that. So that'd be interesting.
Right.
I don't know. I'm kind of like I don't know. I'm 50-50 on that because this would be the third time getting Alcatraz. I'd rather get
Right.
buried over Alcatraz again. To be honest with you, you know.
Buried was good. Alcatraz was good.
Um, I like Moon.
There's a few other ones.
They
Moon
they
was
kind of
good.
did Moon and Zombie Chronicles, but
Another thing that I hope for to come back is like DLC packs.
now they said that there are no DLC packs, but all the content, that are, like all the zombie maps and everything, are totally free.
Let's
So
see.
that's awesome. You don't
I
like
mean, I
that?
don't mind. I don't mind that, but I just like the Black Ops 2 vibe. You get 4 multiplayer maps. You get one zombies map and a DLC gun. I thought that was always the best way because you're not just having a bunch of content added in every week or every other 2 weeks for say where that's where you get start getting way too many DLC guns that have issues of the gun being broken, being too overpowered type deal. It's just you get a DLC pack, you get your 4 maps, you play your maps, you get one DLC gun once every so often an amount of months or however many weeks apart it was back in the day.
So yeah, that's where I think I'm gonna disagree because I feel like I like getting free shit. I don't like paying more than I'm paying $60 for a game. I'm getting the Ultimate Edition. I'm paying well more than enough to you know what I
Right.
mean. To be getting free maps. You know that was always I'd buy like the Hardened Edition or whatever because it came with the season pass.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I wanted it for the zombies or whatever the third mode was. Because
Right.
I'm a sucker for that shit. But oh, and of course, you know my wish list League play come back. We already talked about that, but
Right.
I'm hoping that's good. Honestly, I'm pretty excited for the beta to come out. I know we get it the 8th. Well, as long as you pre-order, you'll get it the 8th.
Yeah,
People who
I already
don't pre-order the game get it the 10th on PlayStation, and then the following weekend is open beta for all the other stuff. Um, I think we're in good hands. I mean, you would agree so. I think we're gonna see a whole different. We're gonna see like a revival. I feel like of like the
right.
hardcore fans who kind of like just been sucker punched because of how shit this current game is.
Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna see that kind of.
I think you're going to see a drastic change in players online this year. I think this is going to be the revival game.
Oh, you know something we didn't talk about? I guess we can mention real fast. Skill-based matchmaking. God,
Yeah,
I
that
hope
that's got to
they
go.
I hope they don't make it like Modern Warfare, man.
Yeah, that's got to go. The skill-based matchmaking should have been gone a long time ago.
That's on my wish list. No skill-based matchmaking, or make it really low. I don't know.
Because as soon as skill-based matchmaking comes in, that's where people start causing problems.
I heard that was an Activision thing. I don't know. I'm
All
100%
right.
sure that's true. I mean, I could see it being Activision for sure. But God, I hope there's been enough uproar in the community where they're like, "Hey, man, let's not make it so strong this time around." Because God, that shit ruins.
Right.
You know, you could have good maps, good guns. It could be kind of fun,
Skill-based
and then
matchmaking
just
will ruin the game.
yeah, just having to sweat every fucking game you play is just
Right.
that's what ranked plays for. And I feel like that's where the disconnect is with people in the power to make that decision. Is like they don't quite they care too much to like the average Joes,
Right.
and they're
They
not. I
they
don't know.
they, they try to give in to the kids who don't play.
Right.
I mean, obviously, granted, we play like almost every day of the week, so we're always gonna be on. We're always gonna be warmed up. Our guns are gonna be shooting straight. But to the average little Timmy who's in middle school, comes home on a Friday night and gets on and plays all day Saturday for his one day of the week, he's
Yeah.
gonna get on. He's gonna get either smoked by kids who are on like a reverse, say for example, like a reverse boosted account or like a Smurf account is what I call it nowadays because that's what everyone calls it. He's gonna get absolutely destroyed by a kid who's really not even on his level, but he goes makes a new account so he can play against other bad players.
Right.
Or if there was no skill based matchmaking, there's a mix of players in there who are gonna be any sort of level. There could be bad, they could be good, they could be pro, they could be the kid who plays once a week and doesn't even know how to put attachments on his gun. It's like you never know.
Right. So I'm fingers are crossed. Hopefully that gets addressed, or it's at least at
Right.
a low level there. Hello.
Hello.
Oh, it seems like I disconnected right there for a second. Is there anything
No.
else you want to add? I feel like we pretty much hit everything, or everything I wanted
No.
to talk about
Oh,
based
I
on what we
guess
saw.
I could talk about one more thing.
Sure.
Map voting is now back.
Oh, thank God. Yeah, map voting.
Map voting is back. That's a big time thing for me. Map voting was big, especially for players who don't want to, for example, play Kill Confirmed or TDM. If you have like a Nuketown 24/7 playlist,
Mm.
you can now vote and play domination, play hardpoint, play control, whatever you want. You can choose
And
whatever
that
map you want to play.
that might help with Scully's matchmaking because I feel like the reason why the lobbies disband right after you play a map is because they're trying to compare stats and then put you wherever you fit.
Right.
If you're in a set
Exactly.
lobby,
Lobbies stick now. Yeah, that's
yeah,
another
so
thing.
that might be if you're absolutely smoking kids, and they're not leaving or like how the old games felt.
Right. No,
So
I got you.
oh man, that's yeah. I think again, why did they get rid of that shit in this game? You know what I mean? It's just like
Right.
simple
Right.
shit that didn't need to be
Yeah.
touched that they took away or fixed or you know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
why? What the fuck are we doing? But yeah. So I think I want to say next week. If you follow our socials, I'll put our link to our new Twitter handle as for the YouTube channel, the Higher Power. It's at Higher Power. Is it COD or YouTube?
I think it's higher power YT. I'm pretty sure.
How Higher Power YT. Follow us on Twitter. Like I said, links in the description below. Stuff we talked about in the podcast, links to that will be in the description. Uh, like I said, next week, maybe the week after, I'm sure we're going to talk about the aftermath of Roster Mania, what the new rosters look
Right.
like, our opinions on the new teams, how we think they're going to fit with each other, and how the competitive scene is going to be looking going into the next 2021 CDL season. So with
Right.
that, any closing remarks from you?
Uh, Follow me on Twitter at
Yep.
Quicks underscore QuiKzZ underscore. Follow me on Twitter. Follow the Higher Power YouTube and Twitter.
Subscribe, like, all that good stuff, right?
Yep.
Think we're in good hands, Cody. I think we're in good hands this year. I'm excited
Mhm.
to grind pubs midnight launch and go back to how things used to be. So with that, I want to thank you guys for listening or watching on YouTube, and we'll catch you guys on the next podcast.
See ya.
Adios.